Greetings and welcome from JTech. We are the company that works with your district and many other school districts in the state on the Medicaid Match Program. My name is Jack Hedgecock. I'm one of 3 consultants with the company to provide this training. The goal today is to make sure that staff members understand the proper filling out of the form and why it needs to be filled out in such a manner to help you understand the activities and the proper narration that is needed to make sure that the district passes any possible future audits and that it passes any monitoring by DSHS. We want to make sure all of these things are in good order so that we don't have any problems in the future. The goal of the Medicaid program itself is to provide a link between schools and students and help families get linked up with medical services, especially those families who don't have access to insurance, and this program does that. So we want to link up kids and families with medical services. When we talk about Medicaid services, we're talking about Medicaid being the umbrella that covers all the medical services. The medical services covered under the Medicaid umbrella include doctor visits, dental care, checkups and immunizations, physical and speech therapies, transportation to medical appointments, hospital emergency care, prescription medications, eyeglasses and hearing aids, pre- and postnatal care services, mental health, and substance abuse counseling. It is also important to realize that this program is reimbursing districts for the time they spend linking kids and families up with medical services. You don't have to know if students are eligible for Medicaid services. If you do the activity for any student, record the time you spend doing that activity on a timed study day. We are taking the opportunity to link kids up with medical services. As we prepare for this training, we recommend that all staff members have a couple of things in front of them. Number one is they have a copy of the time study form, so they might make any notes for the future. They have a copy of the Quick Start Guide, which they should be referencing on each time study day as a quick referral process. And all staff in a training should sign in on the staff sign-in sheet. Now, if you go to jtechconsulting.net, when you click onto the JTech University, it will take you to a page that gives you a wide variety of training materials. This includes some specific segments on trainings for administrators, counselors, nurses, and special ed. The page also includes copies of the Apple Health for Kids, the Washington State Medicaid insurance form, also the time study sheet, the sign-in sheet, and the Quick Start Guide. So with this in mind, staff have signed in for all their trainings. We have the Quick Start Guide for reference and the time study form. Okay, look at the top of the time study form. You'll see that it is normally all filled out for you pretty well with staff name, school district, school building, and there's a couple of things that are very important on here. Make sure that you write in your appropriate job title, whether you're a teacher, administrator, classified person, put that title in, and then ensure that the time study date is the correct date there in the upper right-hand corner. You're going to fill the form out in ink. If you make a mistake, you can cross it out and initial the mistake and then make the correction. Do not use whiteout. Auditors don't like that. We are more concerned about accurate information. So if it has a bunch of crossouts and initials, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, at the end of the day, you are going to sign this form and date it, and it needs to be signed and dated within 5 days of the time study day. Where it says supervisor signature, that needs to be signed in blue ink, and that's a requirement to show that it's an original document. All right, now let's go down to the bottom of the time study form. You'll see there's a couple of very small spaces there. Total paid time this day and total time tracked this day. The time in those 2 slots must be the same. Now, we work with school districts who have certificated staff who have 7-hour contracts. Some have 7.25, some have 7.5, and some have 8. So put the time in there that is the contracted time for you for your district. Administrators should put 8 hours. Classified staff, You work your contracted hours. It may be 4 hours, 5, 5.5, 6, 8 hours. Whatever your contracted time is, that goes in both of those blanks, and they should be the same. All right, at this time, let's go toward the top of the time study sheet where it says Code 3, Educational School Related Activities. This is your regular assigned duties where you're teaching, extracurricular activities where you're grading papers, coordinating IEPs, creating tests, and those types of things. So identify that there. Now, we're not going to worry about the time right there. This area is going to be one of the last areas that we fill in as far as our time. Alrighty, moving right down there to Code 4, you'll see that's direct medical services. This is unique to the counselors, health nurses, and special ed staff, mostly psychs and therapists, who are providing direct medical services. So again, let's don't worry about the time there. We'll be coming back to that area, Code 3 and 4, when we're finishing up the form. Alright. At this time, we're going to move on to the time study form itself. And if you will look down, we're going to go down below the Code 10, and you'll see where there's outreach activities. The federal program is concerned with a concept called parallel coding. You'll notice on the time study form there is an A category with every B category. So you have a 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, etc. So we want to make sure that staff code their time to what they are doing for the day.